In this new life, I made a choice. I didn't write my own name on the marriage application. This time, I wrote my younger brother's. Eva's wish. I would make sure it came true. I dressed him as a groom, slid the ring onto his finger, and carefully arranged every meeting between the two of them. And when she followed him north, I turned south, heading to university. Why? Because I remembered everything. In my past life, even when I turned 50, she and my son were still pleading with me for a divorce. The bitterness of those years, the loneliness of that marriage, had burned into my soul. So in this second chance, I promised myself I would tie her fate to my brothers and free myself. No more clinging, no more humiliation. I would leave love behind and finally spread my wings. Back in the late 20th century, I sat across from her. Eva tapped the table impatiently. "Just fill in the name and hand it in," she said. My fingers brushed the rough edges of the paper. My thoughts drifted. In my past life, I had written my name so solemnly, as if it were some sacred vow. I had been full of joy, dragging her to buy wedding candy. And how did she respond? By scolding me, furious that I had delayed her from making soup for Leo, who was sick. Even now, across from me, she sat in a white shirt dress, sleeves rolled up to her elbows, her forearms bare. I remembered clearly. Leo loved this look most. He once told her it made her look fresh and clean. The bitterness rose in my throat, but I forced a smile. "If you have something to do, go ahead. I'll finish it myself." Her shoulders eased. She sighed, her voice softening. "Don't worry. Now that we're getting married, I'll be responsible for you. But you can't keep being jealous of Leo. If others find out, it'll hurt his reputation." Her words cut like knives. In my last life, I had tried to explain countless times, but in her eyes, I had always been the jealous, petty brother who couldn't tolerate my younger sibling. That night, the memories of my past life flooded me. On our wedding night, she had stayed away, using the excuse that Leo was ill. When she went traveling, she took him, not me. Even when our son turned 1 month old, she had no time. She was too busy comforting Leo after his divorce. And then, at the very end, as I lay in a hospital bed, my son whispered to me, "Dad, just divorce Mom. You'll never be as good as Uncle. Mom's been wrong staying with you. Let her go." I remembered biting my lip until I tasted blood, her cold silence beside me confirming everything I had feared. So this time, I didn't hesitate. I picked up the pen and wrote my brother's name. Leo. "Eva, since you love him so much, let it be as you wish." I handed the paper to the staff, accepted the marriage certificate, and walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I wasn't sad. For the first time, I felt relief. In my past life, after our parents passed away, my brother and I were adopted by the Lynn family. Leo, sweet-tongued, flattering, endlessly charming, was treated better than I ever was. Even Mother Lynn had plans to marry him to Eva early on. But when Leo claimed, "I don't want to compete with my brother," Eva chose me instead. What I hadn't known then was that Leo had no intention of marrying her. Back then, Eva was just an ordinary female soldier, and he wanted to wait for someone better. So he let her dangle, keeping her heart close while avoiding commitment. Meanwhile, I bent over backwards for him. Even while studying, I handled his tuition, his living expenses, everything. Only then could I feel at ease returning home. But when I stepped into Eva's home that day, I heard his voice. "Eva, do you think he'll get angry if you spend time with me instead of him? You can be with him any time. But me? I'm weak. I can't stay alone." Her voice was gentle, firm. "Of course I'll care for you. Who else would I care for if not you? If your brother treats you badly, I'll divorce him." I clenched my fists so tightly, nails digging into my palms, forcing back the bitterness that burned inside. Even in this second life, even with all my determination to let go, hearing her voice treat me so lightly still hurt. I steadied myself, then walked into the room as if nothing had happened. Eva emerged from Leo's room, her face flushed with guilt. I was just checking on him. He wasn't feeling well. I nodded faintly. In my past life, I had fought with her endlessly over their closeness. This time, I wouldn't waste energy. But she stopped me. David, why don't we buy some wedding candy and give it to everyone? Her voice was almost casual, but I heard the hesitation in it. And in that moment, I reminded myself, this time I would no longer chase, no longer beg. This time I would walk a different path. When Eva suggested buying wedding candy for the family compound, I was caught off guard. For a moment, I thought maybe it was her way of making up for my silence, for all the things I hadn't complained about. But I shook my head. There's no need. Let's not bother with formalities. She looked startled, as if she couldn't quite imagine me refusing. And before she could answer, Leo stepped out of the room. His voice carried that practiced innocence that always made him look like the victim. Is it because you're upset Eva is taking care of me instead of you? My eyes fell on him, and there he was, dressed in a linen suit, the very suit I had bought after months of scrimping just for our wedding photos, the most popular style of the 1950s. In my past life, I had never even dared to wear it once. Leo followed my gaze, fidgeting like a guilty child. I saw on your bed, he murmured. It looked nice, so I tried it on. I forgot to take it off. He twisted his fingers, lowering his head, looking every bit the picture of shame. And before I could respond, Eva instinctively stepped forward. David, don't. I cut her off, my tone steady. It looks good on you. Keep it. I've never worn it anyway. The fabric carried a faint odor of sweat and blood, and suddenly, the thought of it clinging to me made my stomach churn. Without another word, I turned and locked myself in my room. Inside, I pulled out a folder. My admission letter to Guangdong University. Finance major. The South, a place I had always dreamed of. In my previous life, I had given it all up for Eva, my studies, my ambitions. I had stayed behind, tending to a home that was never mine. But not this time. This time, I caught myself in time. This time, I would live for me. The calendar told me I had 10 days left before I could leave. 10 days to prepare. Every second mattered. Just then, a knock. I opened the door, impatient. Eva stood there holding a bowl of noodles, her voice uncharacteristically gentle. You must be hungry. I made you some noodles. For a split second, I was thrown off. In my past life, she had been cold, sharp-tongued. I hadn't seen this warm side of her in years. There's no need, I said flatly. I already ate outside. She frowned. How could you? You've always been so careful with money. Her words pierced me. Careful? Yes, I had been frugal, because every penny I earned went into her hands, spent on things for her. Now, preparing for university, I had to count every coin. I met her eyes. A few days ago, I gave you 50 yuan for wedding expenses, but I don't see anything bought. Why don't you give it back? She froze and forced out, I used it on a pair of leather shoes for Leo. I laughed under my breath. Bitter, tired, always the same. Then there's nothing more to say. I'm going to sleep. Her voice sharpened. I'll give it back tomorrow. But really, we're married. Do you have to be so calculative? I snorted. So it's fine to spend my money on someone else, but wrong for me to ask for it back? She had no answer, just a weak, stubborn whisper. You're impossible. I slammed the door. For once, I didn't care. In the days that followed, I began stripping the house of the past, selling off useless trinkets, throwing away memories that once held weight, but now felt like nothing more than junk. Each sale, each coin I collected, brought me closer to my own freedom. One afternoon, Eva appeared again, 50 yuan in hand, her voice stiff. Here's your money. I took it, pocketed it. Thanks. She studied me, uneasy, her eyes drifting to the luggage I was packing. I'm planning to take Leo with me to the northern city to join the military. You don't need to pack anymore. I didn't even pause. My hands kept moving, folding, preparing. Her unease deepened. What's been going on with you lately? You're like a different person. She was right. I was different. In my last life, I would have clung, begged, argued. But not anymore. If she ever discovered that I had written Leo's name on the marriage application, she would probably find a way to re-register the marriage for him. I didn't want to give her that chance. "It's nothing," I said. "Just packing. Once you go north, I'll move back to the countryside." She let out a small breath, relief hidden in her voice. "It's not that I don't want you to come with me. It's just Leo's never been to the northern city. He wants to see it. After a few months, I'll come get you." I nodded absently. In my last life, I had waited 8 years for her to come get me. She only did after Leo had married a military beauty from Beijing. She seemed unsettled by my silence. She wasn't used to it. Normally, I would have filled the room with words, eager for her attention. Now I gave her nothing. "Didn't you always want to take wedding photos?" she offered suddenly. "Let's go to the studio tomorrow." But tomorrow, I had other plans. I needed to buy supplies for university. I was already searching for a way to turn her down when Leo strolled in, casually draping an arm over her shoulder. "Eva, what photos? If you're going to the studio, I want to take pictures too." And there was again that effortless intrusion, as if my place had never existed. Eva smiled and patted Leo's head gently. "Of course. Let's all go tomorrow." I forced a polite smile. "You two go ahead. I have things to take care of." Her brows knit together. What could possibly be more important than taking wedding photos? Her tone carried that stubborn edge, the one that didn't allow refusal. "Let's take the photos first. I'll help you shop for what you need afterward," she pressed firmly. And then, as if on cue, Leo chimed in with a wounded look. "Yeah, brother, are you refusing just because of me?" Arguing would only waste my breath. So I simply nodded. Agreement was easier than explanation. The next morning, I woke early. The red numbers on the calendar glared at me. 4 days left. For days, until I could finally walk away from all of this. From across the wall, I heard her voice coaxing Leo awake. Moments later, they emerged, sluggish and smiling, Eva carrying a basin of warm water to wash Leo's face with her own hands. In my past life, I had been blind to all this, convinced that once I married her, she would give me the same tenderness. But she never had. As I stood lost in that bitter thought, Eva approached hesitant, holding a small box. Inside was a simple ring. "Wong said it's popular now, so I bought one for you." I stared at it. In my previous life, there had never been a ring. Before I could respond, Leo leaned in, his eyes lighting up. "It looks so nice." "I want one too." Without hesitation, I held it out. "Then take it." Eva's face darkened. "Stop joking. That's our wedding ring." But Leo had already snatched it, slipping it onto his finger with a grin. "Eva, does it look good on me?" Her eyes softened instantly, brimming with adoration. She nodded, smiling, and for that moment it was as if I wasn't even standing there. Only when she turned back to me did her expression falter. "Guilty. I'll buy you another one next time." I gave a faint nod. I had heard promises like that before. None had ever been kept. At the photo studio, Leo insisted on going first. He laughed and posed, even dragging Eva into several shots. When it was finally my turn, the photographer raised his camera, then lowered it again with an apologetic frown. "Sorry, I've run out of film." Inside, I almost laughed with relief. Outwardly, I stayed calm. Well, I guess that's that. Outside, Eva handed me a folded slip of paper. A train ticket to the northern city. 4 days from now. "I didn't mean to leave you behind," she said softly. "I'll go ahead, get settled, and wait for you there. 3 days and nights on a train, with only one military placement waiting. Where would I even stay?" But I knew better than to ask. When I accepted the ticket, she visibly relaxed. "Don't worry. Even if you can't stay in the military compound, you're still my only husband. I'll treat you better from now on. I only see Leo as a younger brother." For the first time, something in my chest eased. When had she ever spoken so gently to me before? But in the next heartbeat, fate delivered its cruel reminder. A car came careening around the corner, fast, reckless. Eva's first instinct was to grab Leo, pulling him to safety. In the chaos, someone shoved me forward, straight into the path of the car. My body froze, too slow to react. Metal slammed into me, dragging me across the ground. Pain tore through every nerve, and my vision blurred into nothing but gray haze. The driver leapt out, pale with panic. "Are you all right? Can you stand?" A crowd gathered, pointing, murmuring. But through the blur of faces, I saw only one scene. Eva, clutching Leo's arm, murmuring comforts to him as if I wasn't even there. Maybe she had noticed. Maybe she hadn't. But she didn't care. A bitter smile touched my lips. Any hesitation I had left vanished. So this was her promise to treat me better. The hospital confirmed it was nothing too serious. Bruises, some internal strain. Lying in that bed, body aching, my mind felt strangely calm. Late that night, Eva walked in. She looked tired, her face pale with worry. "David, are you all right? Does it hurt?" I met her gaze with cold silence. Her hands twisted nervously. She tried again. Leo was so shaken up, I had to stay with him. My stare cut her words short. She shifted uncomfortably. At that moment, it was instinct. Leo was closer, so I pulled him. "I didn't know you'd be hit." I interrupted flatly. "When are you leaving for the northern city?" Her eyes flickered. "Tomorrow." "I see. I want to rest now. You can go." I closed my eyes, dismissing her. She lingered for a moment, then slipped out quietly. The next day, Mother Lynn came bustling in with a thermos, her face full of warmth. "David, Eva asked me to take care of you. How are you feeling?" "Much better. Thank you, Mom." She ladled out soup, chatting as she always did. "Eva, that girl, she's clumsy. I just don't know if she can take proper care of Leo." Her words faltered. A sudden realization hit her. I looked at her evenly. "Mom, it was Leo who married Eva." She froze. What did you say?" The application I submitted was under Leo's name. For a heartbeat, silence. Then her face broke into uncontainable joy, as though the heavens themselves had handed her the gift she'd always wanted. "David, you're such a good child. I always knew you were the most understanding one." Lynn's mother squeezed my hand tightly, her face glowing with gratitude. "Thank you, David. Thank you for making this work for them." I smiled faintly but said nothing. Making it work? No, it wasn't for them. It was for me. She had always loved Leo more. Even in my past life, no matter how much I cared for her, when she grew old, she left everything to him. "Mom," I said quietly, "don't tell Eva or Leo about this, at least not for now." She nodded eagerly, almost too quickly. Of course. I understand." Then, leaning forward, she asked, "Well, what will you do now?" "In a few days, I'm leaving too," I replied, keeping my destination to myself. Her eyes lingered on me, clearly full of questions, but I closed my eyes and feigned sleep, cutting the conversation short. The day I was discharged from the hospital, I slipped out without telling anyone. Before I left, I wrote a letter. "Eva, by the time you read this, I will already be on the train headed south. I know your heart has always belonged to Leo, so I'm leaving him to you. Our fate ends here. I wish you both happiness." I tucked the note into an envelope, along with the Northern City ticket and our marriage certificate, and mailed it to her address. Then, suitcase in hand, I walked toward the station. Chapter 5. The air in Guangdong was heavy, humid, almost sticky against my skin. Standing in front of the university gates, I felt dazed, as if this was truly the beginning of another life. Days became simple and grounding. Classes by day, absorbing knowledge with a hunger I never had before. Nights spent working in a tiny restaurant, balancing trays, scrubbing dishes, collapsing into bed with sore muscles. Exhausting, yes, but this exhaustion felt real. It felt mine. A month passed, and slowly I began to settle into this rhythm, until one afternoon, near the dorms, I saw her. "Eva." "David, why?" Her voice trembled with fury and confusion. "Why? Did you put Leo's name on the marriage application? Why didn't you come to the northern city?" Her eyes searched mine for answers. but all I gave her was coldness. I don't want to be with someone whose heart belongs to another. It's sickening. It hurts. She stared at me, stunned. How can you say that? You were never like this. I turned away, bow rising in my throat. Eva, I just want to study. I want to live my own life. Leo is the one you've always wanted. So cherish him. And don't disturb me again. Her fingers tangled in her hair as frustration spilled over. What nonsense are you talking about? I've always treated Leo like a brother. A bitter laugh escaped me. What kind of siblings hug in the dark? What kind of siblings steal kisses when they think no one is watching? I remember that night all too clearly. Her lips brushing Leo's while he slept, the tenderness in her eyes. A tenderness I had never known. Her cheeks flushed with shame and anger. David, stop it. Leo and I are pure. Pure. To me, it was revolting. Eva, let me go. And let yourself go, too. Her face drained of color, her lips quivering, but she found no words. I thought back to the first days I came into the Lynn household. A scared, hungry boy too timid to eat his fill, sneaking out at night, desperate enough to chew leaves off trees. And Eva, she had found me. She had shared her snacks, comforted me. Don't be afraid, David. I'll protect you. That warmth had pulled me in, slowly, inevitably. That was why, despite her indifference, I had once been willing to marry her. But now, that warmth was gone. Days later, she still haunted the campus, hovering around me like a shadow. I dodged her at every turn, but the pressure only grew. And then, she crossed a line I hadn't expected. She went to principal, tried to have me expelled. When I was summoned to the office, there she sat, composed and defiant. My anger boiled over. Eva, what do you want? Why are you doing this? She stood, eyes flashing. I want you to come back with me. She reached for my hand. I stepped back sharply. Come back? So I can watch you and Leo play lovers under my nose? Her face faltered, only for an instant before her fury rose again. Stop it, David. We're still married. What does it mean, you running off to the south, making this a long-distance relationship? Her shamelessness made me laugh bitterly. Eva, your husband is Leo. His name is on that marriage certificate. He's the one you think of when you close your eyes. Her expression crumbled. Her teeth clenched. That was a mistake. Mistakes can be corrected. My past actions confuse you, but I won't do it again. The words pierced me. The exact same words I had once believed in my past life. And I already knew how they ended, with her walking back to Leo. Every time, I turned to the principal, my voice steady. Sir, I just want to study here. Please don't expel me. The principal glanced between us, then said firmly, Miss Lynn, you and David have no relationship anymore. You have no right to demand his expulsion. Relief washed over me. Eva tried to protest, but the principal cut her off. That's enough. If there's nothing more, please leave. I have work to do. But she didn't stop. In the days that followed, Eva continued to linger, to pull at me, to drag shadows into my new life. And then Leo arrived too. Leo's voice cracked as tears streamed down his face. I don't want to steal my brother's wife. I'm a bad person. He clung to Eva's clothes, sobbing pitifully, while she pulled him into her arms, whispering, Leo, don't cry. This isn't your fault. Her hand stroked his back gently, like a mother calming a child. We'll go back. I'm sorry for making you suffer. And then, with a theatrical flair, Leo dropped to his knees in front of me, his voice trembling. Brother, I'm sorry. Please don't be angry at Eva. What happened between us? It was just a misunderstanding. I stared down at him, unmoved. Don't kneel. This is my fault. I made you both suffer. Let's just go back. But the look he threw at me said something else entirely. A silent accusation, branding me as the unreasonable one. By then, a crowd of students had gathered, whispering, pointing, watching the scene unfold like it was a stage play. And maybe that's exactly what it was. A play. Their play. I turned without a word, walking away. If they wanted to put on a show, let them. I wasn't going to play a part in it. Chapter 6, it seemed Leo had some pull, because for the rest of the day, Eva didn't appear again. For the first time in weeks, I felt some peace. I'd buried myself in books, joined the math club, and that's where I met Lily. She was tall and slender, her ponytail swaying behind her, black-framed glasses resting on her nose. Her smile was bright, open, like a patch of sunlight breaking through heavy clouds. Brilliant with numbers, patient with her explanations, little by little, we grew familiar. Just when I thought I had finally escaped the chaos, Eva's letters began to arrive, one after another. "David, are you still mad at me? I know I was wrong. Please come back. There should be a limit to holding grudges. What will it take for you to forgive me?" Each letter bled desperation. Each one went straight into the trash, torn to pieces. Whatever gave her the confidence to believe I'd come back, I couldn't fathom. Maybe it was simply her shameless persistence. At the restaurant where I worked part-time, the air was heavy with grease and smoke. One evening, as I wiped down tables, I noticed Lily sitting quietly in the corner, smiling faintly in my direction. Embarrassed, I avoided her eyes and kept working. When my shift ended, she was still there, several untouched dishes spread out before her. "Why don't you eat with me?" she asked, motioning to the empty seat. "I'm fine. I've already eaten," I lied. But my stomach betrayed me with a loud growl. She laughed softly. "Don't be shy. Sit." I hesitated, then gave in, sliding into the seat. Steam rose from a bubbling clay pot of soup, its warmth wrapping around me like a blanket. Hunger won. I dug in, forgetting to care how I looked. "Slow down," she teased, amusement dancing in her eyes. "No one's going to steal your food." I froze when I felt a tickle on my nose. Looking up, I saw her smiling, holding a grain of rice between her fingers. "Does your face want to eat too?" My cheeks burned, and I looked down quickly. Her gaze lingered, open, honest. I knew she liked me, but right now, I wasn't ready. My focus was on survival, on studies. The rest would have to wait. Winter break came, and with it, Lynn's mother's calls, persistent, coaxing, urging me to come home for the new year. I wrestled with myself, but in the end, I couldn't ignore the family that had raised me. I bought a ticket, packed some gifts, and returned to F City. The moment I stepped inside the Lynn house, voices thundered down the hall. "Eva, what do you mean by this? You're my wife now." Leo's face was twisted in anger as he sat in a chair, shouting at her. Eva's expression had drained pale, but she didn't dare talk back. "I want that watch. Go buy it for me." "Leo, can't I buy it next time?" "I've already used up this month's allowance," she pleaded softly. "It's because you're useless. Still just a company commander. Or is it because you gave the money to your brother?" Her face darkened. "Don't say that. I've already cut ties with him." "Cut ties?" Leo sneered. "Do you think I'm stupid? You've been writing him letters every few days. You think I don't know? You don't care about me. You only care about him." Eva's patience frayed. "I told you I don't." I stood in the doorway, watching the chaos unravel, and all I felt was bitter irony. In my past life, she had hidden her love letters to Leo from me. In this life, she was hiding her letters to me from Leo. In the end, she was always the same, never choosing, never loyal, wanting everything, losing nothing. Lynn's mother was the first to spot me. "Chapter 7, David, you're back," she exclaimed, hurrying over. "Come talk to Leo. His temper is getting worse every day." She clutched my hand, her voice almost pleading. I pulled away, my tone flat. "I'm tired. I want to rest in my room." Her smile froze, but she didn't press. Instead, she turned back to coax Leo like a mother pacifying a spoiled child. Back in my room, I unpacked slowly. From the bottom of my suitcase, I pulled out a gift Lily had given me for the new year, a red cashmere scarf. I wrapped it gently around my neck, and as I looked in the mirror, a small smile found its way onto my lips. That evening, a knock sounded at my door. When I opened it, Eva stood there, her face pale, her eyes restless. "David," she whispered, "we need to talk." I stepped aside, letting her in. She wrung her hands together nervously before finally blurting, "The husband I've always wanted, it's you?" "I've been waiting for you." Leo's temper is getting worse. He's wasting money. I laughed bitterly. Waiting for me? Eva, do you even believe it yourself? Will you take me for someone you can summon when convenient and dismiss when you're done? Her cheeks flushed, panic flickering in her eyes. David. Eva's voice trembled. Let me explain, but I cut her off before she could even begin. There's nothing left to explain. You're Leo's wife now. What else is there to say? I wish you both a long, happy marriage, and may children come soon. For a moment, she just stood there, silent, as if a memory had suddenly returned to her. Then, with a fragile whisper, she said, I keep having dreams in them. The man I'm married to is you. You're kind, gentle, always looking after your parents back home. Her voice faltered. A shadow of regret passed over her face. But in those dreams, my eyes are always on Leo. I ignored you. I hurt you. I was such a fool. And in the end, I even stood with my son, forcing you into a divorce. Her confession stunned me, because it wasn't just a dream. It was the truth of another life. Eva buried her face in her hands, anguish pouring through her words. I'm sorry for the way I treated you before. I want to make it up to you. But my chest tightened with anger. I refused a release. My voice was cold, steady. If you really want to make up for it, then live well with Leo. Don't come here again. It's better for both of us. Her eyes dimmed, though stubbornness lingered in her tone. But I still feel like the man I should have married was you. That was the last straw. My patience snapped. Eva, you need to leave. This isn't the place for you, and these aren't the words you should be saying. She stood, shoulders heavy, and walked out with slow, dragging steps. I watched her fading figure, but my heart felt nothing. Not grief, not longing, only clarity. In this life and the last, Eva had always been the same, caught between two men, wanting both, loyal to neither. That night, I made up my mind. If Eva and Leo were going to live under this roof, then I would not. The Lynn family was never truly my home anyway. The next morning, I packed my bags and knocked on Lynn's mother's door. Calmly, I handed her a bank card. Mrs. Liu, thank you for everything all these years. This is what I've saved. Please accept it as repayment for your kindness. She hesitated, eyes soft with guilt. David, you don't need to. Please. I interrupted gently. Just take it. And with my luggage in hand, I walked out of that house without a single backward glance. At the station, the line was long, and when I finally reached the counter, the words I dreaded came, no tickets to Guangdong. Not until the day after tomorrow. Frustrated, I ran a hand through my hair at a loss. Where would I even go? I couldn't just sleep on the streets. And then, like fate's quiet hand, Lily appeared, arms full of shopping bags. Her face lit up the moment she spotted me. David, she called, her smile as bright as sunlight breaking through winter clouds. Surprised but unable to hide my own smile, I greeted her. Lily? What a coincidence. You're from F City too? She nodded quickly, then tilted her head. Wait, don't tell me you don't have anywhere to go. I tried to laugh it off, but she read me too easily. Concern softened her voice. Why don't you come to my place for New Year? Please. I'd feel better knowing you weren't alone. I waved my hands immediately. No, I couldn't possibly. Oh, come on, she teased, her laugh light and warm. It's just me and my grandmother. The house is too quiet anyway. You'd be doing us a favor. Her smile wavered into something almost pleading. David, please. My grandmother gets so lonely. You'd brighten her New Year. I couldn't help but chuckle at her persistence. And in that moment, resistance melted away. All right, I said softly. I'll come. Outside, a cold wind swept through the station as we walked. I shivered instinctively, pulling my coat tighter. Without hesitation, Lily slipped off her scarf and wrapped it around my neck, the faintest trace of her perfume lingering in the air. Cold, huh? F City is harsher than Guangdong. I shook my head, but warmth had already seeped into my chest. Her home sat in the old district of F City, a 2-story house with a quiet charm. As we stepped into the courtyard, The delicious aroma of dumplings drifted out to meet us. At the door stood her grandmother, silver-haired and smiling. "Lily, you're back." And, "Oh my, who's this handsome young man?" Heat rushed my cheeks, and I lowered my gaze. Lily grinned. "Grandma, this is my friend David." Her grandmother beamed. "Good, good. Come in, come in. Warm yourselves." Lily helped me carry my bags to the guest room. It wasn't large, but everything was neat, clean, and welcoming. The sheets smelled faintly of sunlight. "You rest a bit," she said softly. "The dumplings will be ready soon." I sat at the edge of the bed, staring out at the snowfall. For the first time in what felt like forever, peace settled over me. Maybe this was what home was supposed to feel like. That evening, the three of us gathered around the dinner table. Steam rose from bowls of dumplings, and Lily's grandmother kept piling food into my plate with a warmth I hadn't known in years. "David, you must come often," she said with a smile. "Grandma will always welcome you here." For once, I smiled easily. My heart felt light. After dinner, Lily suggested we walk to the nearby park. The snow had quieted the world, leaving only a few couples by the lakeside. We walked slowly, the hush between us filled only by the sound of falling snow. Finally, I broke the silence. "Thank you, Lily." She turned curious. "Thank me? For what?" "For this. For giving me a place to stay. For offering me warmth when I thought I'd be alone." She tilted her head, the corners of her lips lifting into that familiar, teasing smile. She tilted her head, a mischievous smile playing at her lips. "How about you repay me with yourself?" I froze, caught off guard, then scoffed lightly, tried to cover the ripples stirring in my chest. "Nice try." But Lily didn't let it go. Her voice turned dramatic, playful. "Come on. How else are you going to repay me? After all, I saved you from that perilous situation at the station." Her exaggerated tone made me laugh despite myself. I put on a mock scowl. "A hero? Sounds more like you're just trying to extort me." She tapped her chin, pretending to think. Then, with an air of false seriousness, she said, "All right then, how about you cook for me every day until school starts?" I rolled my eyes, unable to stop my smile. "You think too highly of me. My cooking's average at best." Her eyes lit with mischief. "That's fine, I'm not picky. Even if your food is terrible, I'll eat every last bite." She winked. Her cheeky defiance pulled a laugh out of me. "So this is gratitude? Looks more like you're just taking advantage of me." She let out an exaggerated sigh, clutching her chest as if wounded. "Ah, so my charm is enough." Then suddenly, she rose onto her toes, leaning dangerously close. Should I try harder? Heat rushed to my face, and I stumbled back a step. Her laughter spilled into the cold night, light and musical. "Relax. I was only teasing," she said, brushing a dusting of snow from my hair with gentle fingers. "Come on. Grandma will worry if we stay out too long." Back at the Sioux home, her grandmother was waiting with steaming ginger tea. I wrapped my hands around the cup, letting the warmth seep into me. For the first time in years, I felt it. Comfort, safety, the fragile spark of a future I might actually want. That spark grew on New Year's Eve. Fireworks cracked and bloomed across the sky, their brilliant colors painting the snow in fleeting shades of red and gold. I stood by the window, caught between worlds, the one I had left behind and the one just beginning. Happy New Year, David, Lily whispered. She was close. So close I felt the brush of her breath against my ear. A shiver ran down my spine. I turned to face her. Our eyes locked, and for a heartbeat, everything else fell away. Happy New Year, Lily. Her lips curved softly. She leaned in, her voice a secret meant only for me. "I like you, David." Outside, the sky exploded with color, and in the glow of the fireworks, I realized for the first time in a long time my heart had skipped a beat.